You didn't have to do it too. So
I
it's just something
be
me and Nico started doing it a while back, and then we just like, well, I guess we have to keep doing it because Nico didn't
I
have his
actually
camera for a
found
while.
out, and like, I don't know if this is BS or not, but it kind of makes sense if you break it down. This is like the separation of peace, and this is the
No,
unity.
this is okay.
Holding
Then
it like
I'll do this from now on. Do the old Sammy Sosa.
Okay, I'm gonna go get me a drink. I'll be right back.
Right.
Yeah. So
ahead,
this is just kind of where we chill. And if there's stuff that like you'd like to add to the conversation, if there's anything that we've kind of scratched the surface, and you know, Chad and Nico and I like to interrupt. It's part of our charm.
Yeah.
So if there's something you wanted to cover.
And we don't want to try to get anybody in trouble, but this is the less quote unquote censored, I guess, part of the program because the only people who are going to see this are the people who would pay to see it. So it's we can kind of let our hair down, so to speak, a little bit more. But no, I wanted to. So hopefully Nico will be back in time to hear a good bit of this. But I was just kind of brushed back up. I went back and watched some of your interview with Hotep Jesus because I wanted to kind of get a little bit more of that background context. Because when I listened to it the first time, it was like on a Friday night or something. That was when we were driving to the beach, and so I was like listening to it in the car. My sons were in there, and they were like making all kind of noise and everything. So I didn't pick up everything. But when you were talking about being a corrections officer and that guy that talked shit to you, and then you went and cracked his head, and then he tried to say you assaulted him and all this kind of stuff. It made me think of, I had this friend, he was working at I think he's working at Angola, or I think he's working at Angola. Angola is a pretty rough spot. But anyway, this guy, I don't know how he got this, but he had I don't know if it was kerosene or gas or what, poured it all over this friend of mine who was a CO, poured it all over him and was trying to light the match. And my friend went over there and just beat the shit out of him while he's trying to light the match while he's covered in gasoline. So it's a rough life out there. I was thinking about it, like what you said. It's exactly right. Like even the folks who are there, you're in prison for the 8 or 12 hours or however long your shift is too. You locked up in there and you can't go anywhere, and you're stuck in the same that same situation. When Adam was in jail, when he wrote the book Freedom, he was talking about how the way he was talking to him and stuff like that, the way he was talking to the guards and everything, he's like they were looking at him like, wait, why is he acting like he's not in prison and I feel like I am in prison? because he was talking, he would like tell him, he'd be like, listen, you're a free, independent, beautiful human being. Don't let anybody else tell you any different. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, what? You're supposed to be like talking shit to me and like, all this kind of stuff. So anyway, I just you made me think of that story. And anyway, so I just wanted to relay to, I don't know if anything like that, you ever see anything like that happen to anybody else or anything, or where anybody tried to put a hit on one of y'all?
Nah, not really. I was at a jail in Wilmington, Delaware, Gander Hill Prison. It was kind of a newer jail, when I was working there. It was kind of had all the bells and whistles. It was no outside yard. It was Wilmington. Wilmington, Delaware is a city. It's a city in Delaware. So it's not like other parts of Delaware. It's like you have a lot of
wide open land,
farms.
Right.
Southern Delaware is just like the South, to be honest. But Wilmington is like more like closer,
one of the older cities from the colonial times where it kind of grew from there.
Yeah. So it wasn't like you didn't have, the inmates don't have that much movement. When they go outside, they're really not, they're just going into an open space inside a building. What I'm saying? So it was kind of more locked in like that. I will say, this happened last year. There was a riot in Smyrna, Delaware, and one of the COs got killed, in their Supermax, and I went down when I took the job, they took us to a tour in Smyrna, and the difference between Smyrna and Gander Hill was just way different. Like, Smyrna was like, you know, the TV, you know, when you see TV shows about jail, when you got smuggling in drugs and stuff like that, people have these long ass shanks. That's what Smyrna was, you know. So I kind of lucked out. You know, I never really seen inmates hop on it. You know, I was my incident was like one of the only ones that I knew about. It was no, I never seen it like that.
One of the things that really caught me in because I've watched the interview that Chad's talking about too, and I really enjoy the way that, you know, you've managed to disagree with many of the things that your family, you know, you grew up in, if you will, but at the same time maintain those family ties. And I think that's very important so that we throw all this political nonsense out the window when we need to get together and have a heart. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a thing with my family. Like, ever since they found out that like I went to a Trump rally, like they hold it over my head.
And you didn't even go on purpose.
And look, I didn't even go.
You were just
on
going. I set Nico up. I set Nico up with Maj to go meet Maj.
Set me the fuck up
because he was in Chicago, and so Maj is like, he's like out having drinks or something like that, and Nico didn't get to go meet up for that. And then he's like, meet me out here. And so he goes over there and it's a Trump rally. And he's like,
yeah. So like my uncle, like everybody like came and like looked at me and was like, so I heard you went to a Trump rally. And they only signify and like see Trump as like a racist and he's about to put us back in chains and everything like that. So I'm like, no, didn't mean to do it on purpose. You know what? Just to piss you guys off, I might just hit that check mark right next to the name. Nah, but in all
it's not like he's
seriousness,
going to win Illinois anyway, so it's
he's not. In all seriousness, it's absolutely like it's a genuine headache that it's like they've managed to like divide us over politics.
No, for real.
Family matters are like, yeah, they can get political, but at the end of the day, like you can separate that. You can genuinely separate that and like show that you care for and stuff. But you know, they most definitely made it a very like valid way into making life about politics and everyday manners. And it's sad. It's a headache, man. And I'm just starting out, so it's like this shit is like. It's weird though, because it's like I see it in a completely different light, and like I have younger brothers and sisters that like look up to me, and so I'm kind of like the black sheep of the family in a sense, but I'm not, because it's like I'm very good with my words, so it's like if you don't like me, that's just on you. I'm sorry, but it's weird because of the dynamics of how I see from an outside influence due to like the Hotep community and Anarchy community, and then like I come back at home inside and then it's like, well, they don't agree with the democratic views, but we're going to vote for the lesser of the two evils, this, that, and the third. It's tough. This is annoying.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm done.
You know, I get that. You know, one of my uncles, we get into it sometimes, but as far as you know, like my interior closer family, you know, I don't know. I had a rough life. You know what I'm saying? I was in one of my parents was taking me into bars when they was in there. You know what I'm saying? When I was like 5, you know, so I can't like I'm not trying to hear it like like, oh, this is what we're gonna stop talking over. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm not trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and like, and I don't know. A lot of people, I don't know how people see me. Some people like, oh, he's pretty sharp or whatever, but they know I wouldn't bullshit them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I have a reason for something, it's not because I'm trying to get over on you. I never try to get over any that to my fault. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to get ahead. You try to get over on people. I can't. There's a lot of stuff.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'm not a good person to act like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
That's one of the things that's one of the things that actually drew me to you guys is that like I sensed like there's this. So you have like your just dumb people who just like don't have a clue about shit. Then you have like your people who like on the Dunning-Kruger curve or whatever, you know, they think they know everything because they watch Sean Hannity, or they think they know everything because they watch Rachel Maddow, you know, or whatever the case may be, but they don't really think. But they act like they know everything, and then they talk shit to you, and they're an asshole about it and everything. And so, like, what I respected is that there's shit that you guys really like. You've studied it, or you've actually like just, you know, you've thought about it internally with that, you know, just kind of like opened your own eyes to try to see it from a broader standpoint, and not necessarily have to, you know, read or watch or anything like that, or hear an opinion from somebody else. You just kind of like discern from what you already know, what this situation that's coming at you in current events means in context. So it's like this knowledge base mixed with an open-mindedness that really has connected with me, because I used to be like one of those people. Like you hit that thing where like you don't pay attention to politics because you think it's bullshit. And you were right back then, you know, but then like you start paying attention to it. And right when you start paying attention to it, whatever influences you, you think you know everything because like you just found this shit out. I have a 21-year-old niece who does, you know, she thinks that like, I can't possibly understand what she's learning in college because it's completely different from when I went to college, because there was no Trump back then. And I'm like, well, actually Trump was there back then. He just wasn't president. But anyway, it's that kind of, and I see like with some of the people who you follow, like, cause I didn't know who Scott Creighton was until I saw you post some of his stuff, and I went and watched some of his videos, and I started following. Now he follows me, we follow each other. And it's seeing how you kind of, you don't necessarily have to agree 100% with somebody on something, but you're open-minded enough to just take the information in, take that perspective in, because it might, you know, set off a light bulb in you that, and I really appreciated that about you guys.
I want to kind of throw a curveball in here.
Okay.
Because, you know, we are Aquarian Anarchy, and we're not just all about anarchy. The Aquarian part is each of us have a pretty deep spiritual belief and a belief in God and how we see that. And my guess is that you don't have any idea where I'm coming from, because no one would guess just by looking at me. I practice voodoo. That's the religion that I practice. Yeah. Not many people would gather that, but I see and to be clear, and Chad is Catholic and Nico is Nico. I don't know exactly.
I'm out here. I'm just out here.
Yeah. but I see you wrapping yourself with a lot of, in part of this free thinking part of who you are. I see you wrapping yourself with spiritual imagery like the Ankh. I want to know, what do you think about the interrelation in your life with whatever you see as God? What do you think, and how do you think, and what do you consider yourself?
Okay. I went to, you know, I didn't really grow up in a church family. My mom goes to church now. But I did go to Catholic school from like 1st to 6th grade. That was my first introduction to religion. Mm-hmm. I went to religion more than my mother did back in them days. I really don't go to church. You know, I firmly believe, you know, I come to, I think David Carroll said, you know, he believes in a power greater than himself, you know, and that's something, you know, I am an alcoholic, you know, and that's something they say in those meetings, you know, you believe in a power greater than yourself, you know, that's, you know, now this stuff, you know, I don't know, it's imagery. I like it. You know, I think it's like you would have to spend an eternity studying to find out what really went on, you know, and, you know, some people just don't have the time, you know, I just feel that, you know, there's something out there for mankind. I don't know what it is. But like I said, I believe in a power greater than myself. I'm not trying to make a cop-out answer. I just feel like there's been so many. There's a puzzle out there for mankind, and what that is, I don't know, but you don't know how much the elites have influenced some of this stuff as well.
Absolutely.
So I don't, you know,
I mean, shit, I'm Catholic. I see that shit, you know, like I've got my own, you know, qualms with, you know, a lot of the stuff that's, I don't know, probably the last century or so of, you know, shit coming out of the Vatican and going on within the Vatican and other stuff like that. It's more of like the belief system behind, you know, that kind of the original belief system more so than the hierarchy that I'm, you know, that I think I would ascribe to my belief system.
Yeah, and I get the idea of you know, when most people, when I'm describing what I believe, I tell people, because if you tell somebody I practice voodoo, they're suddenly like, oh shit, you know, and wait a minute, you're white, how's that possible? And
or they're wondering why their knee hurts now.
right, right, my hair's falling out, you know, and all that shit. But when I tell somebody that is kind of normal and you know, not a free thinker, I use the word deist because it does describe how I believe, because I believe in a God, but I don't think that God directly influences the world around us. So I get that concept, and I was just curious, like, if it impacts your life, and to some degree for me, my voluntarist anarchist side is huge impact on my spirituality, because I don't believe in a God that's forceful. I believe in a God that is loving and wants you to make decisions on your own. So that impacts what I believe. So I was just curious if some of the imagery, especially the Egyptian imagery that you surround yourself with, had an impact on your life.
More to it than like, you know, there's, I don't know, a hidden history of man, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You know, like man's, you know, there's been so much lost in man's history and stuff like that. We see it today, you know, when they unleashed ISIS across Syria, the first thing they did was they went and destroyed ancient artifacts and stuff like that. That stuff is lost, you know what I'm saying? And you have to wonder how many times throughout man's history that has happened. You know, to be honest, I think mankind is significantly older than what they led us on to believe. And I also believe we've had, you know, fairly, I don't know as high tech as today, but I think we've had
a different kind of technology, I think.
Right. I think we've had,
like, there's some shit that we have now that's low tech compared to what they had back then.
Right.
Aqueducts and you know, shit like that, like aquaponics and everything, where you actually like could use nature in harmony with nature and function without all this other like now I don't know, it's like we went backwards.
No, we used the basics to do very advanced things, and now we use very advanced things to do basic things. It's like we've been consumed with the idea of convenience. Everything that's convenient, we love to eat that shit up and like just use it right away, or be able to get it due to the instantaneous gratitude that we all thrive on because of these little things.
You know, and one thing about your voodoo point. Now, I never really paid attention to like voodoo. I never even thought two things about it. But there was this internet guy on Twitter, Popson. He had gotten an argument with somebody. And I swear to God, you ask anybody, he might know. You know what I'm talking about, Nicholas?
No, but I know where you're going with this.
He got in an argument with this lady, and she was practicing voodoo. And I asked anybody on Twitter. Popson died a few months later with a stomach pain, and that was it. That's no lie. That's the God, the honest truth.
Right.
And you like everybody's like, what is it real? They were like, we wish we were not even bullshit. That's exactly what happened.
Well, first of all, I have to interject that that isn't necessarily voodoo. That would be hoodoo. It would be the spell work and what have you. But I would interject as well that the best spell that you do is to. I had a friend. His name was Dan German, and we called him Danger Man because that was, And there's a book by Aleister Crowley called The Book of the Law, and in it says if you have an enemy, you just make this special cake and then let roaches come to it, smash them roaches, and your enemies will fall before you. Okay, so this one person was threatening Dan, and this was at a gathering or whatever, and they came out and they're like, and they're threatening him and doing all this stuff, and he's like, I'm going to do the thing from the Book of the Law, blah, 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 and he's smashing and all this stuff. And he said, you better watch out for them trucks, them trash trucks. The roaches will just get to you. So these people went off and had a mass. Okay, first of all, when he left, we were like, okay, Dan, are you really going to do some shit? He's like, no, but I'm going to let them think I did. They went off and had an accident with a trash truck. Smashed the shit right out of them. Because when you put energy into some stuff and people start thinking, what it is this person was probably driving along and was like, oh, look, it's a trash truck, bam, and hit the trash truck and had an accident because the suggestion.
I think he lied to y'all. I think he went and did whatever he did when he made that cake.
No, it was in the same night. We were there.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Okay. All right.
So nothing happened. He was
so.
drunk. That didn't happen. So, so I think that stuff does happen, but I have to defend voodoo a little bit because people don't understand that. One of the things that I've talked to these guys about is that in my religion yes, there's G'day, the god of death, Baron Samedi, the god of the cemetery. That's real and that exists, but there's also Razuli, the goddess of love. There's also Yamaya, the goddess of the oceans and motherhood. And those are just different aspects of nature playing themselves out. All voodoo is, and all the religion of voodoo is all about, is connecting with nature and following the path of connecting with nature.
I think if you really think about it, that's pretty much every religion. Like if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing correctly, we are, as human beings, interpreting like what we feel spiritually, what we sense, what we experience spiritually, and what we see in nature, and trying to make sense of it. And that's why my metaphor for all the different religions is it's like different languages. It's just our different interpretations with different words of like what a tree is, or what a ping pong paddle is, or whatever the fuck it is. Like it's just we're trying to understand what this shit is. And to Unk's point, like, how long it would take for you to like get it right? Forever. Like all of eternity probably, like it. So I think it's really silly and pointless a lot of times with people. They're fighting and arguing and stuff and like falling out with each other and not talking to each other ever again over some stuff that they think they know and they don't even know. They really believe what they've been told so far. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I think wrapping that back into some of the other topics that we've talked, it's not any different with politics. One of the things that Nico said early on in the series of Aquarian Anarchy stuff is he said, one of the things that and this really stuck to me. So Nico, we're not only influencing you, you're influencing us. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that stuck to me is that those people that we disagree with, the people that are on that other side of the divide, the Democrats, the hardcore liberals, the socialists, a lot of times they have the right heartfelt like goals. They may screw up when they go to putting it into practice.
Yeah, the rank and file. Yeah, I wouldn't put that on the politicians, but the rank and file, the people who are voting and who are arguing with you on Facebook and everything. Yeah, they want people to not go hungry. They want people to not die in wars and everything. But somehow they keep, we've been conditioned to vote for people who send us off to wars and who starve us.
And I think it's with conversations like tonight. with coming together with people who maybe don't agree with everything that you say. That's how you develop. That's how you expand your consciousness. That's, that's why, I started, I'm not as religious of paying attention to what you and Hotep Jesus are doing, as these guys are. But I started paying attention. And the reason I started paying attention was because you know some shit that I don't know. And so I want to gather that and I want to build it, because maybe, I can put it in there and grow from that influence. I've watched Chad have that influence on y'all, interjecting, Rothbard.
Well, and I've gotten, dude, I've grown too. I mean, I've been introduced to so much stuff. I've read books that and some of this too, like it's as a white guy growing up, like you get all the shit about like how bad Malcolm X was and all this other kind of stuff. And so like getting past that and then getting like shown some of this stuff. Cause up until this point, I had been mostly exposed to just the shit that, normal white guys get exposed to about Malcolm X, and it ain't the good stuff. You know what I mean? So like there's that, there's all the other figures, as you go through, Marcus Garvey and John Henrik Clark and everything that there are these people who I have been exposed to that I've gained so much knowledge and so much better understanding of like how human interactions have been manipulated over a long period of time. And my thing, I don't know if you saw the Cooley Bravo interview that Hotep Jesus did. But that shit was, I'm probably an hour into it, maybe 45 minutes into it. And I'm still not done yet. But just like the first 20 minutes or so of that, it was just, I was like, holy shit, man, this is, and one of the things that he said that really stuck out to me is like, if you think about it, like they talk about, there's always this shit talking and this trashing of black men. And he's like, they're talking about how black men are the weakest link in this whole, fabric of society, and especially like black culture. And I'm like, and he said, no, if anything, he said, we're the strongest link. We're the strongest of any of the things in here, because we're the ones that are the least likely to put up with getting fucked with. And there's a lot of truth to that. And that's another thing I've been noticing how people who want to try to rule over people, the first thing they do, like what we were talking about earlier, that, they'll try to take a big name out, or take anybody who's really, really strong and fighting hard, or willing to put their life on the line. That's the first person, because then it scares all the people who are less likely to do that and puts them back in their place. And so that's why I've supported you guys, because I think that these are the voices that need to be amplified. So.
For sure. Well, we've kept you past your 20 minutes.
I have to say this. So Saul G put me up to this. No, he didn't really, but I figured I'd go ahead and do this for him. So why do you like Luka Doncic and Tyler Hero so much? No, I'm just fucking with you.
You know what? To be honest, it's just, I pull for the underdog.
I know. No, I'm the same way. No, so like I had this thing.
Those boys are nice.
They are. So I had this thing, like I was always like I root for the black quarterbacks. I root for the white wide receivers and the white running backs, and I root for the black centers and left guards and everything. Like if there's a black punter, I'm like, damn, yes, go ahead, man. Because it's it's the underdog. It's like the thing that I like to see, the stuff that you're told doesn't exist. Like right. It's like, that's no, this shit exists. That's what it is. Exactly. I know. I was just fucking with you. I had to.
It goes back to Emma Goldman again. She said it is the misfits and the outcasts of society that deign to challenge the authority that transform a society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to say like, oh, you said I can't do this? Watch. Like it's that kind of thing. So no.
Well, I want to thank you again for coming on. It's been a fun conversation, and I hope that you feel, at least, I know that Chad pretty well, and hopefully, you know, you get to know Nico a little better. Just know that you got a white dude out here. I'm a white black supremacist, just like Chad. And I'm out here rooting for your success and doing what I can.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate this. Chad, you should have let me know you guys do this. I think I might have remembered it, but it just never came across my timeline. But you know, I'll try to help you out, get you guys some retweets and stuff like that. You know, I just followed you on YouTube. You know,
all right.
So I'll try to help you guys.
Yes, indeed.
Cool. And I follow you on Twitter and all of that. Is there any questions that you have for us that you're curious about before we let you go?
No. You know,
Well,
all right. What do you think happened? What do you think? What do you? All right. Let me get this.
Oh, here we go.
Just get it out the way. What do y'all think happens come Tuesday?
Yes, I wanted to ask you that too. So that's good. Let's do it. Let's do that. I think Trump wins, and I think it's going to be it's going to be tight. But I think if you look at where the focus of his energy and his campaigning has been in that Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, that area, picking those states back up again, and what has it been since Kennedy that the winner in Ohio wins? And I think he's going to pick off Ohio, and I think it would be a major upset. If you've watched these things, you've seen these videos, these fucking rallies and stuff like that, where like Trump's packing 20,000 people in a spot, and Biden's got like, they don't even have to social distance. They're like, we're already social distance. We stayed at home. So that's what I think. I think there could be some manipulation, but what do y'all guys think?
I'll let Nico go next.
I think that there's going to be Trump's going to win, but there's going to be something very big that happens that's going to cause mass hysteria, and people don't know. People don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm most definitely calling some bullshit to happen, probably right after the election or during the election or the day before it.
The election's going to last like 3 weeks or something because they're going to have all these mail-in
how things in
ballots
Philadelphia, Unc? Are you said you're in the suburbs and you're good, but like I keep seeing things on like Twitter saying Walmarts are going and stuff like that.
You know, as economy wise, I think
no, with the shit that happened the other day,
the riots, right?
Last night,
yeah.
I don't know. They tore up a lot of stuff, man. You know, which is shameful. You know, you can have whatever.
Violence is bad,
right?
you know.
But you know, a lot of these people are just opportunists. You know, like why is it every time the first thing to do is hit a Foot Locker, man? That's crazy, man. Like
how much
stuff?
How much of it? You said people are opportunists, but how much of it do you think is also like a little bit of like agent provocateur, controlled type shit? Because
in Philadelphia,
they went late.
Philadelphia,
no, maybe not in Philadelphia.
Oh, I mean, listen, there are some little cats.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the people who went and laid down. They burned all this shit up, and then they went and laid down in front of the Federal Reserve, and I'm like, of all the things that you could have like burned down and like torn up, you didn't touch the Federal Reserve. You laid down in front of it. That's
lazy.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you a story.
All right. Go ahead.
I ain't gonna tell you who this girl was, but is a friend of the family, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
She went down. This was like when I think Floyd incident, and you know it was
Minneapolis.
Yeah, but in Philly they was doing the same. They just waiting for their turn to ride, right? She went down and see this young boy down there, right? He told her to come down. This was the night they was rioting. So I don't know if you want to play the naive white girl thing, right? She went and picked him up. She was like, "Yo, drive us down such and such street." She drove him down there, like, park here. We'll be right back. I swear to God, man. They come back and got a whole bunch of clothes and stuff like that.
Oh, clothes.
I swear to God. This lady living in she lived at least half hour away. But you know, in Philly, like a lot of people live outside the city, just drive. Half hour is nothing. You know what I mean? So they are definitely playing some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you know, back to the election, I kind of think, man, like it's kind of, I don't know what's going to happen with these days, because I think Pennsylvania, they can take up to 3 days after Tuesday to count. You know, how far do elites want to take this? You know, do they want to take it, you know, like have some controversy? Because if you have some controversy with Trump, they're really going to go crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So this might be their time to go for it. They might not ever, because you know what, they had the conversation that they had the, you know, the Bush versus what's
Gore.
his name?
Gore. Yeah, in 2000. Yeah, with Florida.
But nobody really knew who Bush was, and that was before the war. That was before September 1-1.
And they really kind of almost blamed themselves for voting for Ralph Nader. The ones that, you know what I mean, like the people on the left who voted for Ralph Nader, because they were like God damn it, the one time we try to be principled, and it's like it actually has an impact.
I agree almost entirely, and I think that the number one, everything is going to be as close as they could possibly get it. Biden's going to win the popular election. He's going to win the popular vote, whatever. But Trump's going to win. He's going to carry more states, and it's just going to be barely. I think that it's going to be narrowed. Whatever the number was from 2016 is going to be narrowed as far as they can get it, but he's still going to win. But yeah, I'm with you on.
They're going to drag out the recounts and everything else
as far as they can, and they're going to do it on purpose, because what they can, you know, it always comes back to how can we sow division and dissent so that we can crack down. The purpose is to crack down, and they sow the dissent and get, you know, Antifa out there doing their dumb shit and blowing shit up and doing all that, and they get and then they get a bunch of hillbillies out going, oh, Trump,
and then it's all designed to like have you come. It's like if your kids hated you and you're like, all right, I know what I'll do. I'll have something else scare the shit out of them, so they'll come running back to me so I can hug them. You know, then they'll actually come. Like, it's just come back to daddy. Remember who your daddy is. And,
I also think that Corona's about to flare back up again. I think they're gonna try and, you know, have our butts stay inside. And
it'll give them an excuse to add to that. For sure.
California just lost power, right?
Yeah.
Certain areas in California lost power, and winter's about to come up. That's not good.
And I want to get back to California because I have a good point that ties back into some of our conversations we've had with other people. But yeah, I think that the corona is definitely going to play a role. They're already ramping it up. I'm in Indiana, and my governor, who's a piece of crap, like gigantic corn-filled piece of crap.
You can say shit, Marcus. It's the after hour, man.
I know. I'm just saying. I've said shit and fucking up. But he's already threatened to shut us back down, and we're in Indiana, right in the middle of nothing. And so, yeah, that's definitely going to happen. And I think that they will pair the two. We got civil unrest plus corona coughing people and the flu season coming in and all that crap just swirling around. I think it gives them a good excuse to try to shut us the fuck down again, keep people inside, because one of the things that did was drove people nuts. People got crazy, people got stir crazy, and never forget that the number one tool of any state is divide and conquer. They always use it. It is always about getting people, because most people are not extreme left or extreme right. Most people somewhere in the middle, but they make people look like they're on the two sides so that it's easier to divide them, so that you wind up defending a Nazi or you wind up defending Stalin. Either way. So I think they're going to continue to do that, and it's going to ramp up through the cycle. Where I want to get back to California is that Marcus Ruiz Evans, who is the we've had on the show and is the leader of Cal Exit, and if you guys can get him on Hotep's Been Told You, I think he'd be a good guest. Just or you interview him or Hotep Jesus interview him. Great guy. But he started the Cal Exit movement that wants to break California off. And he's actually reaching out to, he's a liberal, but he's reaching
out to conservatives because it's like, hey, don't y'all want to get rid of us anyway?
Right. But what
let us go.
That a lot of times, because when you were saying that these are still people and they make mistakes and they do that kind of, I think they may bite off more than they can chew. In California, with Trump as president, second term, talking about the stuff that Trump talks about might just give California enough to say, okay, I'm done. I am done with this shit. Let's break off. And we may wind up with California making a real, because they filed the paperwork. The referendum is working its way out. So California may start the ball rolling towards becoming independent, which may change some things.
Yeah.
There's lots to bite on in there.
Are you going to vote, Unc? Or did you vote already by any chance or anything?
I'm probably going to put in Kanye, man.
You are? Okay, yeah. I did it today. I went.
Not gonna do Trump this time.
What if you cost him Pennsylvania?
I don't think he's done a terrible job, but I think that it will just, I don't know. I think they have enough stuff on him to keep him in check. What I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, not only that, but it's people a lot of time, and I'm one of them. Like, I'm real critical of him. I'm critical of all of them, but like people, myself included, we tend to forget that like there's committees and there's like this whole web of like agencies and everything that have been there for decades, and they've got these people who are like lifetime appointment type people who are just, that's the people. I mean, you remember when they had the 08 financial collapse, and like the next day they're like, here's a 2,000-page bill for $800 billion. We just whipped it together. Like, no, the fuck you didn't. That shit been wrote. Like, y'all wrote that a long time ago. And it's like, and then you see where all the stuff goes. And that's where I fell behind. I wanted to go through and read the stuff that they put out back in April, and then the stuff that's come out since with these different little stimulus package that they've passed and everything, because that's where you see like where some of this money's going and some of the different levers that they're pulling and knobs that they're twisting and stuff like that. Because that's how we got like the Patriot Act and all this other bullshit. Like they do 9/11, and then next thing you know, you get all these different things stacked on top, and this is just another version of that shit. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Trump or anything like that, but for everybody to think like one dude who just kind of like took a whole election process by storm and pissed off the Republicans and the Democrats at one time to come in there and just be like, all right, I'm telling all y'all what to do now. They're like, no, the fuck you're not. And I still go back to that thing that Adam brings up all the time with Bill Hicks. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where there's this Bill Hicks routine where he talks about how there's this little drop down that they, after you're inaugurated, they walk you into this room, they close the door, and they pull down a thing, and they show you this third, never before seen angle of the Kennedy assassination, and then they're like, "All right, do you have any questions?" And then whoever it is, they're like, "Yeah, what's my agenda?" And so I think there's probably, and like you said, they probably got enough dirt on them and everything else, and they can threaten your family or whatever the case may be, and there's all sorts of different ways that that stuff can be manipulated. But I already voted for Kanye, and that was kind of I was going to vote Libertarian. I was a delegate to the National Convention. Marcus was too, and I just kind of, there were a few things down towards the stretch, and that Rogan interview really was a big part of it, because actually getting to see him talk through that stuff and go through because I never believed the stuff about him being crazy or like that it was some sort of manic episode with the shit that happened in South Carolina. I just think the dude got really emotional about talking about how he almost aborted his daughter. Like, you think about that, like what man, when he's looking at how old is North now? Like 6 or something like that?
Yeah.
Like around the same age as Jade, like in that range. Like, could you imagine like thinking about that and not breaking down in tears when you try to talk about it publicly? It's 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 just one of those things that they try to do to people. Somebody's trying to really change something, and they got to make you look crazy. They got to Me Too you, whatever the case may be. They're going to come at you with something. That's why it's hard. That's why you go back and read Behold a Pale Horse, and they talk about all the different things that they look at people for. Like alcohol, drug addiction, sexual appetite, and different things like that. They try to find those ways to manipulate you, and they'll send somebody to you or something like that, try to set you up. I think they might have done that to Kobe. I don't know. Like it's there's no telling what kind of shit, because that, even all that stuff, it was like really weird the way all that.
I call BS on that.
On the Kobe thing,
I low-key call BS on that. Like, the transaction on like the airplane, he got it from an Illinois senator, and I'm like, it's Kobe Bryant. Why the hell did he hit a helicopter, a used one? Granted, it could be a buddy of his, but like fairly sure he could have went to like a rental airspace and y'all got any refurbished planes for your boy? Like, I'm like, it could have been some better exchange than I feel a little fishy, but I'm just a bystander, and I'll happily be a bystander. I don't want to get caught up in this hoo-ha. Not yet.
Sure.
Well, look, we kept you 45 minutes over the hour, and I know you said a little over an hour, and that's more than a little. So we're gonna let you go, but we appreciate you very much coming on,
sure. And hopefully after we end this election cycle, maybe a few months down the road, we'll have you back on and continue the conversation, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anytime, man. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, man. Peace.
Stay free, everybody.
Out, or you're going to just implode, or just eat yourself whole. Like it's a very ugly game that they're allowing.
Mm-hmm. Why you wait until after we stop recording to say that shit, man?
Double fisted, motherfucker.
I don't know. We just started talking.
As soon as I start recording, Nico's like, "Watch this! I'm gonna drop some gems now."
I didn't drop no gem. It's just like
the icy hot thing, like the solitary confinement, and then the hot and cold, and the expansion and contraction. That's exactly that's better than you think it is. I'll tell you that much.
And I think this time the lockdowns will come with teeth. I think they're gonna make you stay out.
Oh yeah, Biden's Black Winter comment is most definitely something in the occults. So you can.
Well, not only that, but there's actually Operation Black Winter. Have you looked at that? It was like in 2001, I think. It was a smallpox epidemic that they were going to try and trigger as like a bioweapon type thing. And then so the fact that he brought that name, that very name up, it's like, we're remixing
like you couldn't have used any other words, Biden.
Well, no. So what I think it is I think he's so senile that like somebody said some shit like that. He overheard it in some little meeting or something like that, and then it just came out of his mouth like by accident.
Watch for the occult symbolism too, because they float that shit out. Watch for it. You're going to want to look for particular numbers. The number 418 is going to be big. The 418 is a particular occult number that has a lot of significance. Like if you look at the jet numbers from 9/11, that's the big ones, like 93, 418, 11, those kinds.
Are you using numerology for this?
For sure.
I've been getting into it.
Out of the Kabbalah, it's called gematria, and the elites use gematria frequently. And look for symbolism, like when you said Black Winter, look for the symbol of a black sun. That will be, if it's a black sun, that imagery will be one of the. It may not be this thing that they do, but when they start pulling their true shit and start unveiling shit, you're going to see a black sun. So look for occult symbolism to come out. Look for things that are going to be Baphomet based. Baphomet is the goat of Mendes. Right. And look for Solve et Coagula. What they're going to do is they're going to tear things apart and build things at the same time.
Build back better. That's the Biden / Operation Reset. That's shit. It's like, oh my God. We're gonna
Yeah,
build
they're
back.
going
I
to tear
think we're
down
gonna
these
build back more
homeless
demonic.
communities.
Is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
They're going to tear down these homeless communities and then build up the rich, and then that's where the separation really is going to start.
For sure. Watch for hand symbols. This one, coupled with the hand down on the other side, doing this, blessing and excommunication.
Oh, right. What Baphomet does.
Right. Look for those. That's another symbol.
I'm gonna
they're
keep doing
use.
this then. Nico, you're not gonna trick me.
Well, this
You're not tricking me into doing this anymore. I'm not
This is
doing it.
peace.
Yeah, this is
This
blessing.
is separate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, with because
I'll
this
just
comes
fucking-
straight from the Pope. If you watch the Pope when he's doing blessings, this is what he does. And I gotta stand up to show you this because I can't do it with my hand otherwise. But this is the symbol he makes when the Pope excommunicates somebody. He makes this symbol.
Huh.
And watch making those, like if they start talking about like destroying things, they start talking about things falling apart, and they do this because you want to watch the opposites because they're combining the two. And all of those things, look for the occult symbolism to come out, and all of that shit is the thing about being an occultist and understanding the different like schools of occultism. It trains you to look for it, and I've just seen it too many fucking times.
Yeah.
In what these people are doing.
Okay.
Have you seen have you watched what you call it Lovecraft Country?
Mm-mm.
I think you would like it.
Is it based off of H.P. Lovecraft stuff, or is it something else?
Yeah, so it's
yeah, Marcus is like big into that stuff. I tried to read some of that stuff, and I was like, I can't. It's like it's not my bag.
It's not your cup of tea. No, I think
I would probably watch some stuff that's based off of it, because somebody else who wanted to read through all that stuff and then like put it into script. Like there's some stuff that I love to read that's like really descriptive, and then there's some of that stuff where I was just like, man, this is taking too long. I just want to,
It's 10 episodes, HBO. They're an hour long.
Okay.
I don't have HBO, man. That sucks.
Oh man, when I was younger, I was much better at this bootlegging stuff, but send you a website.
Yeah. Soap Today was one that my son was using for stuff. We started watching. It had like Korean subtitles or something like that, but we watched the Joker
1080p.
movie.
If we talking 1080p, I'm okay.
I think it was 1080p on but it had Korean subtitles though. So
I'm okay with that.
I don't give a shit.
I can be distracted every once in a while.
Exactly right.
Well,
no,
guys,
but like
so let each other go.
So just a reminder, like next Tuesday night is election night. I am going to be live streaming with the Brown Paper Bag podcast for that.
And we're going to do Wednesday, right?
So yeah, we were going to do Wednesday to make up for that. Basically, do our recording then.
I think on Saturday I'm going to try to make like a little side video and talk about that we're going to move the schedule.
Okay.
So that people have that.
Okay, cool.
I meant to say something tonight. And
Speaking of Saturday, coming up soon is another. Do you want me to cancel the thing? Do you have like the email or whatever so that I can do that? Or do you want to?
I thought you already canceled.
I haven't canceled it yet because I don't know how to. Like I just went in and signed up, but it's sending the shit to your email, so I don't get the emails.
I didn't get shit.
You're getting the notifications of when the meetings are and stuff. I don't know how to go. I'm gonna have to go in there and look and see how to turn it off. I'll try and do that. If I can't do it, I might, because you had sent me something saying, "Hey, by the way, this is about to re-up, so you might want to cancel it." And I was like, "Too late! It already pulled the money out of my account." So.
Yeah, definitely, and I can send you. I don't know. I think I should be good this weekend.
Okay.
I think this weekend you still have.
I think so too.
When I get that, I'll send it straight to you.
And this episode with Uncle Hotep is going to be my content that I'm bringing to the show to get reposted by Hotep Jesus. So,
nice,
yeah.
Awesome, cool. Well, hopefully you'll do that
version.
anyway.
Yeah, I might put a little clip. I might put a little clip of the Patreon thing to show, like, and I think I might start doing that. Is grab a clip from it.
Good idea.
and then post that and be like, hey, if you want, and it's gonna be a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Where it's gonna be like, you want to hear the answer to this question? You gotta fucking pay $5.
Like it.
So.
Yep, I like it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. And Nico, the answer to your question is yes. I'm gonna be banging on some drums in the middle of Saturday.
Yeah, I am as well. But
For sure.
my cousin's trying to take me to a cemetery, and I think she's gonna partner up with the Loa, and I might be doing depending on how tonight goes. If we go to sleep smoothly, I'm still gonna do like a protection spell and work on it. And then
So no trip to Haiti?
no trip.
Yeah.
Because I'd be there. I'd be going there right now.
You'd be going now. Okay.
Over there already.
Okay.
I didn't have any money, and it's okay because they're kidnapping people at the moment.
Oh,
I don't
damn.
kidnapped.
You know
I got a businesses to get running.
That's right.
Then you can kidnap me, and if I can pay for it, cool. Just at least I have a stake with no spit. I'm okay. All right, just like take care of me, and you can kidnap me, and I'll have my people pay you and why you.
Yeah, there you go.
But no Haiti, but we're still going to try and get me used to not. I mean, I'm tweaking because I most definitely have you as somebody who can help me hook me up with a few people. So I have like a few people in my pocket that I'm talking to. I don't know if I told you, but I'm getting into oh no, I did. I'm getting into tarot reading and whatnot.
Yeah, you told us that.
But I have to wait. There's a couple of courses that I have to take to like really get my skill.
Bro, your shit still says Nicole's.
Really?
Nicoals.
I changed it the last time. I think it saved it.
I just noticed that just now. Luckily, Unc fucks up reading my stuff all the time. I had a dude from the Libertarian Convention. His name was Gabriel Bowersocks, and Unc called him Gabriel Boxer. And I was like, "How the fuck you got Boxer out of that?" So he saw that, and his dyslexia or whatever like read your name right. He said Nicholas, because Mark last week was like Nicoles. How do you pronounce that? Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? Fuck, I don't know.
He read it word for word, and it was he read it word for word or letter for letter, instead of like glimpsing. You know, when you glimpse at it, it'd be like, oh,
right, exactly.
Nicholas.
If you like those things where they say
but
like Paris in
reading
the
off
spring.
of it, you're like, oh, this man can't spell his name.
Right. Yeah, you ever seen those things where they do like Paris in the, and then they have the spring on the next line, and so people read it and they're like Paris in the spring. They're like, try again, Paris in the spring. Try again, and they're like, you didn't see there's two thes, and you don't because your mind just kind of fills in the blanks and you just kind of scan. So yeah, you got Unc just scanned and Mark just like dug in on you. All right, I'm gonna try and start compressing this thing, and then I'm gonna upload it. So
love y'all.
Y'all later. Yeah, likewise.
I have
love
little
y'all.
brothers to assault, so I'll catch you guys later.
All right, peace.